Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Now we're going to do a review of Holotype Mesozoic North America, which is a worker placement game where you're going to race to score the most points publishing journal articles about different species as you find their fossils. Now this is a worker placement game. We will compare this game to the 3 other worker placement games that you have up here at the end of the video. But for now, we're going to give you our rating, and then we're going to do the overview and give you our reasons for our rating. So we rated this game both an 8.
Woohoo!
So we enjoyed playing and was suggested, and this is on the BGG ranking.
Yes.
So let's talk about what you're going to do in the game.
Okay.
So you have different boards depending on the number of players. This is the 2-player board, but you also have a board for 4 and 5, and there's a board here on the back for 3. And the game can end in 2 ways. Here, in a 5-player game, you got to publish 36 holotypes. Those are the journal articles. In a 2-player game, it's only 18. Another way the game ends is that you have global objectives that you can both contribute to, publishing journal articles. And when one of these 2 cards is filled with our tokens, then the game can end that way as well. Now, what's unique about this worker placement game is that you start with your paleontologist and your field assistant. You don't get your graduate assistant until you publish 3 articles. But at some point you will. Here's where you'll keep track of your fossils. You can get fossils from the museum as well, and when you go on field expeditions. So if I show that card right here, for instance, if you go to this location, you can roll the purple dice and you can get fossils from the museum or from the dig site. Now, why do you want these? Because if Julie was going to publish this holotype, she would need 4 fossils and 4 research cubes. And we give her 13 points. Now you have these other indicators here, which can help you with your personal goals and with global objectives. See, it's a marine animal and it's a carnivore. And then it has information about it right here. So when you go around the board, you can do field expeditions right here. This is where you go to publish journals. This is where you go to get more specimens to research. Here's to the museum where you can trade out cubes. And the university library to get research. You can have as much research as you want, but you're limited to how many fossils you can store. And as the game progresses on the track here, you'll get milestones which will improve your ability to research and get more fossils. The one with the most points wins. Here's an example of a personal goal. You'll be given 2 of these at the beginning of the game, but you'll choose one. So for me, I want to publish Jurassic holotypes, and if I publish 5, I'll get 17 points. And if you want to have some context here as to, well, what are these different ages? This gives you an idea. Why is it called the Mesozoic era? Right here. Because it is an era, and you have 3 periods, Cretaceous, Jurassic, and Triassic. Now, what's unique about the worker placement part is that you can bump. So here's a graduate assistant here. I can bump a graduate assistant with the paleontologist or another graduate assistant. But I can't bump the graduate assistant or the paleontologist with the field assistant. So you can bump each other around, and if all your people are out, you just take a retrieve action, take them back into your lounge, and you get a research cube. So let's take a look now at what are our reasons for our rating of an 8. So those are our categories right there.
Okay.
So let's talk about fun game play. Why is this game fun, Julie?
I think it's really fun because you get to bump meeples around. And you guys know how I like to flick things, so I just go with my guy. I like it.
And it's not mean because you get them back and you get them back in your lounge and you can use them. So for me, it's fun trying to be the most efficient paleontologist while maximizing actions racing to publish holotypes and completing personal and global goals. So I like the efficient part of it where you want to get just the right amount of fossils to meet your goals. So what about the art? What do you have to say about that?
What about the theme?
Oh, the theme. I skipped ahead.
I think it's a really neat worker placement game. We've played other ones, but I think this is a neat one.
You know why I said I went out of order? It's because I have it missing.
Oh.
The theme is there.
Yeah.
And it's unique because it gives you an idea of what it's like to be a graduate, either a PhD or a graduate publishing articles, doing research and going out in the field. That's unique. I haven't seen a game like that before.
Me neither.
So what about the art?
I like the art. I think it's just really nicely done. I love the pictures on the cards.
And you got real pictures here.
You got real pictures, which I think is really cool.
And then you have some artist
And
rendering.
the dinos are just amazing, especially my little T-Rex.
I agree. It's immersive art that adds to the gameplay. The field art cards are a little dark at times. Sometimes they could be like this one right here. It's kind of hard to see what's going on.
But you just read about it.
Yeah. What about the components?
I think they're quality components. I like that the bones are inside the dice.
Oh, yes, they are etched dice.
Yep. And I like the meeples. I like the different sizes and the way they made the distinction of who's who. It helps a lot.
Right, so here's your paleontologist. So for me, the components is quality to average. What's quality is the dice. You have thick cardboard, and for instance, this piece right here is nice. What's average is the fossils. So it would have been nice because it was a Kickstarter. Maybe they could have had a goal to make this more thematic. And the cards are average quality. They're not low quality, but they're also not linen cards as well. Linen finish. What about the playing time?
I think the playing time is really good. We've only played it with 2 people, and I think it's very decent. I like it a lot. It's quick. I mean, it's not quick, but it's. I don't get too tired.
Well, with 2 players, I think it's quick. With 3 to 5, it may over an hour might be a little too long.
Oh, it'd be way too long
for a game that is not this complex.
Yeah.
So we're not too sure about that, but it will play quick with
The
2
two.
players. So what about the age and audience?
I think the age and audience is appropriate. I think a 14-year-old, it's good for that. Because they have to figure out how to plan things and how to get their stuff. And I think they'll really like it if they love dinosaurs.
Yeah, so 14 and up, they do that for regulation purposes,
I know.
for testing when you're selling in other countries. But as young as 8 can play this. And that's because there's any reading here, you don't need to read it. But there are 8-year-olds that can handle the vocabulary here if they're high readers. It's really just matching colors, and they do a good job with that. You don't need to do a lot of reading here. So you can go as low as 8. So it's great for those who like low complexity worker placement race games. So complexity.
I don't think it's very hard. It's not hard to grasp what to do, like what each area does. I don't think it's very hard to figure out.
And once you get used to the symbiology here, it plays quickly, and it has a good reference manual right here explaining there's not a lot of icons.
Yep.
So it's low complexity family weight game. It's easy to teach and play.
Yep.
So now we get to design and mechanics.
I think it's fun to bump the workers. It's a really fun most points game, race game, but I think my favorite part is getting to push people around.
Yeah, for me, it's a solid thematic worker placement, score the most points race game. The reason race game is because if you're able to time it right, you can beat somebody to complete a global objective here, and then you would uncover that, or publishing the last holotype here to go from 17 to 18, and they were ready to publish something, because if you have any in your hand that you haven't published, you lose points. You lose points for that.
Yep.
It's not mean when you get pushed off a location, because you just get to reuse your guy again. But although disappointment may occur if someone beats you to a global objective, especially if they're not paying attention, because we get to use all of our dinosaurs that we have, all the blues in both players to complete this. So you need 6 blue there to complete that. So learning the rules, it's easy to learn for experienced. The rulebook does need examples for less experienced. So that's why you may need to watch a how to play playthrough video, because it does lack examples in the book. So in terms of educational merit, what would you say?
Oh, I think it's excellent. I think it might encourage people to want to become a paleontologist. I found it was interesting, the information on the field expedition cards, on the actual dinosaur cards. I thought it was neat.
The text right there, when it talks about where it was found, the length,
what kind of food it likes to eat.
right?
Yep.
It can be inspiring.
Yep.
It even tells you where it was, when it was discovered in Utah.
And who discovered it?
Is it Utah? No, I don't know why I
No,
thought.
Edmonton lizard is what it's
Yeah.
called.
I don't know why I thought that.
I don't know.
So for me, the science connections is ideal for small group and game clubs. For instance, it's maybe too long and complex for a total class activity, unless it's AP or honors. There's great information on the cards, and the models the research process of being a graduate student. So this can inspire somebody like, oh, you want to be a paleontologist, you know you're going to need to go to get your bachelor's, go to graduate school, get your master's at least.
At least.
And then if you want to teach university, get your PhD.
Yep.
So this models that, and that's a nice thing.
Just like Ross Geller and Indiana Jones.
Well, he's an archaeologist.
Oh.
Oh, wait, you were talking about Ross. Yeah, he is a paleontologist.
Ross Geller's a paleontologist.
Yeah, I thought you said Indiana. I thought you said Indiana Jones.
I
My
did.
mistake.
I got
But
confused.
that ties us to that ties us to the Lost Ruins of Arctic. How does it compare to these other three worker placement games? Well, this is an archaeologist going on an expedition. And if you haven't, as you may recall, that this game, you are going on an expedition and you're discovering things and you have a research track. This is similar in that way to this game, that you are racing to complete so many things and go up on this track. However, this is more complex. So I would start with this game, Holotype, if you haven't played a more complex worker placement game. And this is less scientific. This is more, Indiana Jones-like, than this is based in more science. So I would start with this, then go to this. This is more complex to learn. Now, one of the first worker placement games of all time, which also has to do with history, is Stone Age. This is one of the first ones, and this is where you are in a Stone Age village, placing your workers and rolling dice to get resources, and then spending those resources to complete objectives and move up on technology and art. This is as simple as this, but this has more luck, because you're going to be rolling dice, and so this has more of a push your luck element to it. There's not too much push your luck here in this game, other than maybe drawing a field expedition card, not getting the dice you need to get the fossils you need to complete the cards. And then Celios is the most tied into the science aspect of it. This is a science game just like this, where you're trying to grow your plant and improve the cell walls and things, and you're cooperating. You're growing your own plant, but you're cooperating on the cell wall part here. And it is also a race game. This is also a little bit more complex than this, and you can also use it in the classroom. So it depends, but this is more abstract. This is not as concrete, because even the creators of this game are not too sure what's happening at the molecular level. So this is more abstract. So this is more concrete. Both teach science. But again, I just wanted to go over how those games work in case you're interested in other worker placement games.
Nice.
So thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.